So today I was going through all my old journals because I need some references for some classes coming up. Woo woo, classes are coming up. And anyway, I couldn't remember which journals I've shared, which ones I haven't. This is a really old journal. This is only my third Dina Wakley mixed media journal, and I'm on like my 13th. So I'm pretty sure I didn't do a flip through. If I did it so far back on my channel, I can't imagine that many people saw it. So I just thought it'd be fun to go like way back and do a quick flip through, because when I was starting out, I just really appreciated seeing flip throughs of other artists' journals. I can't tell you when this one came out. Like I really have no idea. It's probably about 4 years old, at least. Maybe even 5, to be honest. 4 or 5 years old. So I was very excited to do this journal. So, and I think I was attempting the 100-day project, and I thought, oh, this will be my journal for my 100-day project. And guess what? I didn't keep up with it, which is often how the 100-day project goes for me. I started it this year, and I did not finish it. So anyway, I thought I would share some of the stuff on here. It's so fun for me to go back, because even though I've progressed as an artist and my style might change here and there, I still get so many ideas when I go back into my old journals. I still have art that I'm like, oh my God, I gotta do that again. I gotta do that again. I gotta do that again. I just feel like there's not enough time in the day to do everything I want to do. So this was kind of the first journal where I experimented, at least that was my goal, to really experiment with just keeping it more monochromatic. I don't think I kept to that. But that was my goal when I started it. And this is the Dina Wakley Mixed Media Journal, which they just discontinued. I'm so sad. And it had about 60 or 70 pages in it, which is a lot. So, there's a lot of time lapse in here. But anyway, this was like a flattened piece of probably a license plate that was so thin I found it like at a rest stop somewhere. And I was like, oh, art stuff. So I put it in here, and I love how it turned out. Here I was kind of experimenting with, I think, a Jean Oliver class that I took. And so I was playing around with some of her things, or maybe even the book that she had. So I was experimenting with some of her drawing techniques. And just doing assemblage here. Here's where I started doing a little bit more of my oh, look, 2019. So this is, 4 years old, right? 4 years old. Oh my God, like literally 4 years old, because it's April 20th. And I wrote this on my birthday. And it's so funny. I just did a spread this year for my birthday. And I was like, this reminds me of that old spread, because I kind of remember them all. Where is it? I have my journals right here. Hold on. So funny. Man, I've written a lot in the last few days. Where did it go? I think it's right here. I did this for my birthday, and I was like, oh, that reminds me of my old spread, which is right here. I was just thinking about this a couple weeks ago. So funny. Here I did some fabric, and I drew on some canvas and sewed it down. Got to do that again. Haven't done that in a while. And just really playing around with different imagery and doodles and stuff. Old Botticelli image, I think. And just really playing. It's using a lot of the Collage Collective stuff in here. Super, super fun. Collage Collective images, and then just some doodles and stencils. Oh my gosh, this is definitely from the Jean Oliver class. From her book. Have it right here because I'm so organized. This is a great book, full of inspiration. So I was playing around with some of the projects in there. So this was one of them. I had so much fun. Got to do that again. See, I'm already getting ideas. Playing with doodles. I'll try not to make this take too long. This is from the Collage Collective. This was a fun one. I took a magazine image and then painted over it to make it look a lot more real. Just super, super fun. And, you know, I have really bad spreads in here. Like, there are times where I'm like, I hate this. But what I love from it is all the colors, right? So I like colors combination. So, this is from a cool paper I found that had doors on it. Just experimenting with different people and shapes. I think this is kind of like the Dina Wakley figure style, but this was fun too, like learning how to mix gesso and do shading, playing around with these shapes. When I first started making faces, I started doing them way more abstract like this with the Stabilo Alls, and I haven't really played around with this much lately, but I love the results, so I gotta do that again. I love how they came out. I added some bird feathers to this. I love this spread. These are like some Dina Wakley crows. They probably don't make those anymore. This one I love. This I think was influenced by like, there was a really cool video game. I don't play video games at all, but when we were postpartum with my second, well, my fourth baby, we were playing this game. What was it called? I'm not going to remember it. But it took place in the desert, and there were a lot of like people with cloaks and like turbans, and it was the most beautiful thing ever. I wish I remembered the name. Was it Nomad? I can't remember. But anyway, it's totally influenced by that. This was fun. I think I saw the person underneath, and so I was like, oh, I'll trace it. And I did like a shape. This was a fun one. And just playing again with, you know, using canvas. That's why I love this journal. It gives you the different substrates and stuff like that. And I love like going back to this because this is when I worked and I just played. I wasn't doing art full time, so I could do whatever I wanted. There was no pressure when I worked that way. So I kind of want to get back to playing a lot more and experimenting. I just love these kinds of faces. Just got to do them again. So much fun. This one I loved playing with loose drawing and stuff like that. Got to get back. Here's another Dina Wakley Collage Collective. And experimenting on my faces. I was still just learning. So like, you know, my faces are kind of crooked and weird, but I didn't care. This is a beautiful postcard that I have in my collection. At some point, I want to have like collage papers that people can buy. And I have all these beautiful vintage photographs that I love from postcards that I absolutely adore. I got to get those going. More abstract faces and playing with glitter paper. I love adding like monochromatic glitter paper. It just adds that extra texture to your art spreads. So it's just fun. Like glitter can be really tacky. But it can really be fun if you play with it, and it just adds like that extra texture. I just love it. Just playing with different imagery here. I put a hat on one of the Collage Collective heads, which is fun. I really kept going with these faces, which again, that's kind of how people progress, right? You know, you go through, Picasso had a blue period where he did everything in blue. So, you know, once I get hooked on a style, like I'll keep playing with it over and over and over. Like I'll just keep it going. And then here, this is, I remember when I made this face, I was so proud of myself. This is the first kind of semi-normal illustrated face where I felt like, okay, that looks like a real person. I love just this whole spread and this concept too, like playing with these bubbles and cutting them out like this. This was, I think, one of my first Ranger articles. I ended up redoing this And it was so fun. Like a whole bunch of people did versions of this, but this was the first time I was like, oh, what happens if I have a frame and I put these cutouts on here? Again, these were all shapes from the Collage Collective, but I was cutting them out and adding them. And I had fun. This is kind of like a self-portrait of sorts in a kimono, I guess. And just practicing my faces, practicing. And of course, like once I figured out that cutout thing, I just did it everywhere, right? It's just so fun. This was probably my favorite face from that Collage Collective. The Collage Collective is a series of bits and bobs that you can cut out from Dina Wakley. I loved it. Loved this spread. And I think these open, yeah. I remember that. This opens to the next page. Got to do that. I'm already getting ideas. I should just keep these journals out. And then I have the reverse on the side. This is it's my family. It's my grandpa. So I like using vintage photos in my work. And just playing around. Love the flying birds. This is like a weird Queen Elizabeth face. So fun. Just working big and just playing. Like, I mean, it's not perfect, but it's fun and I had fun making it, so that's all that matters. This one I love too. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I think I did this. I think these are all from when I got to take a class with Dina Wakley. It was the only time we've ever met. And we didn't really know each other when I took the class. She knew I was doing some stuff with Ranger, but I had just started. And it was so fun. It was such a wonderful, fun class. We made books too, so those are kind of put away, but it was super fun. I know I made this in class and I hated it. I was like, ugh. And I remember Dina said, that's okay. When I make stuff in class, it often comes out horrible because we're rushing, but I did it anyway. This was fun. This was from the Collage Collective, and I was experimenting, which again, I gotta do that, with different artistic styles, like elongating my faces, making my faces a little bit different. And I loved how it turned out. And then I was playing with the blooms that were on here and I added them to the next page. So I just kind of free-handed those. I remember when this stencil came out, I think it was of one of Dina's cats. And I had fun turning it into a mask for people. I just kept doing that over and over again because I'm not like a cat person. I mean, I love cats, but I mean like in my art, like I don't usually use animals in that way. So it's like, how can I make it strange and weird and magical? So I just turn it into a mask. I'm just experimenting. This was a cool magazine picture from like, I don't even know, someone's campaign, like Calvin Klein, but not somebody like that though. So I added that. And just here, like I'm practicing coming back to the monochrome, practicing layering, that kind of thing. Practicing my faces. Here I was experimenting with really large eyes, stuff like that. Paper dolls. Here's some more. This is kind of where I was starting to get around with watercolor and playing with watercolor and having fun. I didn't love the whole thing, so I just tore out the part I liked and put it on there. Gotta do more of that. Just having fun. Oh, and also like covering faces. I should just take notes when I look through these journals, make a list of all the things I want to do again, because I just forget. This one was just adding flowers on there. This is a famous picture. My sister and our friend, we all three of us had this postcard. It was like a vintage lady who had all these tattoos, and the photograph was colorized with these bright colors. It was super cool. So I decided to kind of try and recreate that. And I just made her tattoo stamps. This is like a Stampington stamp and different things. So I added those. Doing more with photographic imagery. I haven't been doing a lot of that lately. Got to do that more. I'm just playing around with more faces. Different faces. This is again a collage collective face, but then I added to it big magazine image that I always thought was cool. So I kind of added to it there. And this, I think I was watching like an Ivy Newport. I don't know. This was from a Somerset studio that she did, but I was very influenced. You might not be able to see it, but she did something that inspired me to make this. So definitely inspired by her. I'm just playing around with this. This is a fun practice to make different blocks and then doodle in them. Gotta do that. Never got to the last page, but I made it through. So that is an older journal. I'll keep trying to pop on and see if I have some other ones that I can dig up to share, but just super fun. And I am trying to say at the end of every video, please subscribe if you like this, because I'm going to be doing lots here and sharing lots from my Etsy shop when stuff gets released. I can't tell you how many people say, I missed the thing and it's gone and I want some. And I always say, make sure you subscribe to my newsletter or my YouTube, because I'll share it here and then you'll get an alert. So make sure that you subscribe. And I will be back with more fun things.